There are voices that do not belong to you, thoughts that rise suddenly, pulling you into fear, doubt, or anger. They seem like your own, but they are intruders. In ancient Shaolin teaching, the greatest enemy is not the one standing before you, it is the unseen force whispering within. And when those whispers grow strong, they can shape your choices, cloud your judgment, and control your life without you even noticing. Tonight we step into that hidden battlefield. Many believe demonic spirits are creatures moving in shadows, but the truth is far more subtle. They take root as patterns of the mind, habits of weakness, voices of shame, cycles of despair. The scriptures speak of them as tempters. The monks speak of them as illusions. Different words, same reality, a force that seeks to use your own mind against you. I will show you how stillness itself can become a weapon, how your breath can break the grip of fear, how discipline closes the door to intrusion, and how pain can be transformed into strength instead of bondage. These are not theories, but living practices carried through centuries of Shaolin discipline and spiritual mastery. Few speak of these methods because they require more than belief. They require training, awareness, and an unshakable will. Stay with me until the end, because each principle builds upon the last. By the final words, you will carry not only knowledge, but a path, a way to silence the voices that do not belong to you and to reclaim the throne of your own mind. Welcome, my brothers and sisters, to Shaolin Soulfire. If these teachings speak to you, subscribe now and walk with us on this path of inner mastery. There is a voice inside you that speaks with clarity, and there are voices that do not belong. The challenge of life is to know the difference. Many people mistake every thought that enters the mind as their own, but this is not so. Some thoughts rise from your spirit, and some are planted by forces that seek to weaken you. When you feel a thought that drains your strength, that fills you with shame, or that chains you with fear, recognize it for what it is, an intruder, a thief disguised as your own reflection. Long ago my master told me, not every shadow belongs to you. Learn to see which ones follow and which ones cling. This lesson became the foundation of my practice. Mindfulness is the art of watching without grasping. Like clouds drifting across the open sky, thoughts move through the mind. Some carry rain, some carry thunder, some dissolve into light. If you chase them, you are pulled away. If you resist them, they grow stronger. But if you simply watch, you begin to see their true nature. When you learn to observe in this way, you discover a hidden truth. The thoughts that enslave you are not your essence. They are passing guests. They knock at your door, but you are the one who decides whether they may enter. Shaolin practice trains this discernment, not to fight every cloud, but to let the storm pass without losing your ground. The mind is vast, like the sky. If you anchor yourself in awareness, no matter how dark the clouds, the sky remains untouched. This is where your true self resides. Beyond weakness, beyond shame, beyond fear. A scattered mind is like an open city without walls. Anything can enter: noise, fear, doubt, temptation. This is why the greatest battles often come when you are distracted, moving from one thought to another without awareness. It is in these moments of weakness that deception finds its way in, quietly, without warning. In the old Shaolin halls, the monks were taught never to walk without awareness of each step. To outsiders, it looked like a simple ritual, but it was more than discipline. It was a training of presence. For when the body is present, the mind follows, and when the mind is present, no hidden force can slip by unnoticed. Presence is not something mystical. It is the ability to be fully here, in this breath, in this movement, in this silence. When you are anchored in the now, lies lose their power, because lies live only in two places: the past that chains you or the future that terrifies you. The present moment is their death ground. Think of the warrior on the battlefield. If his mind drifts, even for a second, he is struck. So he trains to hold his attention like a sword, steady, sharp, unwavering. In the same way, inner mastery means guarding your attention against every subtle attack. This is why the practice of presence is itself a shield. When thoughts arise, you notice. When emotions shift, you notice. Nothing enters unseen, and when nothing enters unseen, you remain the master of your mind. Discipline builds the wall, awareness stands at the gate, and presence ensures no intruder passes through without your knowing. In this state, attacks dissolve before they can take root, and the mind remains your ally, not your enemy. When the breath is broken, the mind becomes fragile. Fear speeds the rhythm, anger shortens it, despair makes it heavy. In this unsteady state, chaotic forces find their entry. They do not come with noise or force. They ride upon the storm of your own breathing, slipping deeper each time you lose control. For centuries, Shaolin monks have guarded the breath as the foundation of discipline. To them, the breath is not only survival, it is awareness, balance, and power. They say, if you wish to master the mind, first master the breath. This is not poetry, but a truth proven through daily practice. Consider the body in panic. The chest tightens, the breath becomes shallow, the heartbeat rises. In this storm, clarity is lost, decisions are clouded, and fear takes command. But the moment you bring the breath under your will, the storm begins to settle. The heart slows, the body eases, the mind grows clear again. What seemed overwhelming a moment ago is suddenly seen for what it is, a passing shadow, not an eternal chain. Each breath becomes a reset, a chance to begin again. To inhale is to draw strength from the present. To exhale is to release the weight of fear. Slowly, steadily, this rhythm cuts through illusions, silencing the voices that try to unsettle you. The ancients taught that in one breath lies the power of life and death. To breathe with awareness is to reclaim authority over your own spirit. It is not just air entering and leaving the body, it is discipline, it is focus, it is a sword that clears the fog of chaos. In the simple act of breathing with mastery, you return to yourself, and no spirit of confusion can remain. Restlessness is not just movement of the body, it is movement of the spirit. A mind that cannot sit still becomes fertile ground for doubt, fear, and temptation. Negative forces do not need to strike with great power. They only need a restless heart that has no center. Like seeds scattered on soft earth, they take root in agitation and grow quickly in the absence of stillness. The ancients knew this well. In the monasteries, silence was not only a practice, it was a shield. The monks would sit for hours, their breathing steady, their gaze soft, their bodies unmoving. To the untrained eye, this looked like doing nothing, but within, a great battle was being won. Each moment of stillness built an inner fortress, brick by brick, until no passing thought could break through without awareness. Stillness does not always mean sitting in stone-like silence. It can be found in the slow steps of mindful walking, in the deliberate rhythm of drinking tea, in the quiet pause before speaking. Each act of stillness trains the mind to rest in its own strength. When you can be still, the restless energy of the world loses its grip. Restlessness feeds chaos, but stillness feeds clarity. In stillness, the shadows have nowhere to hide. The mind becomes clear like calm water, reflecting truth without distortion. You begin to see the difference between what belongs to you and what is only passing noise. This is why stillness is not weakness, it is power contained, discipline alive, mastery in motionless form. When you root yourself in stillness, you no longer chase after every thought or emotion. Instead, you stand as the unmoving mountain, and all forces that come against you break upon its strength. A shadow unrecognized has the greatest power. In the silence of the mind, unnamed thoughts move like thieves in the dark, shaping your mood, steering your choices, and binding your spirit without you even knowing their presence. Anger, temptation, despair. When they remain vague, they seem vast, untouchable, almost invincible. But the moment you name them, their disguise begins to break. In ancient Shaolin training, a warrior was taught never to strike blindly. Before engaging in combat, he had to study the opponent, observe the stance, the breath, the rhythm of movement. Once the opponent was identified, the victory was already half won. In the same way, when you look at your own thoughts and call them by their true names, you rob them of their mystery. Say to yourself, this is anger. At once, anger becomes something separate from you, no longer the master of your will, but a presence you can observe. Say, this is despair. Suddenly, despair is not the definition of your life, but a passing cloud you are watching from a distance. Naming is the act of stepping back, of refusing to be possessed by the thought. The ancients called this clarity. Modern practice calls it awareness, but the essence is the same. You cannot master what you refuse to face. By naming the intruder, you shine light upon it, and in the light its power fades. The mind, like the battlefield, demands recognition of the enemy. Strike too soon and you waste your strength. Ignore the opponent and you are struck without defense. But identify clearly what stands before you, and already you have taken command. Naming the force is the first act of mastery, and mastery is the beginning of freedom. Disorder is like an open door in the night. It does not always bring harm immediately, but it leaves you unguarded, exposed, vulnerable to what may enter. The same is true within the mind. A scattered routine, neglected practice, or unsteady discipline creates small openings where forces of confusion can slip through. They do not need great strength, only your lack of order. This is why the masters of old lived by rhythm. Each day was shaped by practice, rising with the dawn, moving the body, steadying the breath, quieting the mind. To an outsider, such structure might appear rigid, but to the one who walks the path, it is freedom. For when life follows a clear order, there is no space for chaos to take root. Discipline is not punishment, it is protection. To pray each morning, to train the body, to breathe with awareness, these are not small habits, they are shields. Each repetition strengthens the walls of the inner fortress, and in time, the fortress becomes unshakable. Consider water flowing through a carved channel. Without boundaries, it floods everywhere, soaking the ground, losing its force. But when guided with discipline, the water becomes powerful, able to nourish, to move wheels, even to cut through stone. The same law applies to the mind. Without order, it leaks energy. With discipline, it gains direction and strength. When life is aligned through practice, confusion has no hold. The mind no longer runs from one distraction to another. The spirit no longer bends with every passing influence. Discipline closes the gaps, order strengthens the gates, and what once slipped in unnoticed now finds no entry. In the harmony of structured living, you discover clarity, and in clarity, you reclaim control. Pain has always been a doorway. For some, it opens into despair, drawing the spirit downward, feeding voices of weakness and defeat. For others, guided by wisdom, it opens into strength, sharpening resolve and deepening understanding. Demonic influence often seeks the first path. It clings to wounds, whispers through them, and convinces you that your suffering defines you. But suffering, when seen clearly, carries a hidden fire. In Shaolin tradition, pain is not rejected. It is studied, embraced, transformed. The body aches in training. The legs tremble in long stances. The lungs burn in endless practice. Yet the monk does not flee. He learns to take this raw energy and redirect it, turning struggle into endurance, discomfort into discipline, pain into clarity. The very sensation that once threatened to break him becomes the forge where resilience is born. So it is with the wounds of the heart and mind. A betrayal, a loss, a moment of deep shame, these are the places where shadows gather. Left unattended, they grow heavy. But when faced directly, when acknowledged and carried with awareness, they become the material of transformation. Think of iron placed in fire. The flame could consume it, but if shaped with patience, it becomes a blade. In the same way, your pain may burn, but within that burning lies potential. Each wound can harden you into bitterness, or refine you into wisdom. The choice rests in how you direct its energy. When you stand before your suffering and refuse to let it enslave you, the power it once held is broken. What was once your weakness becomes your teacher. What was once your wound becomes your strength. And in this transformation, no influence, demonic or otherwise, can use your pain against you again. There is a current that runs beneath all things, steady and unseen. The ancients called it Tao, the way, the order that holds the heavens and the earth together. To live in harmony with this order is to stand on ground that cannot be shaken. Evil thrives on instability, on the mind that doubts every step and fears every shadow. but when you know that life itself is guided, uncertainty loses its grip. Faith in this sense is not a blind leap into darkness. It is recognition of a truth already present, that there is a pattern, a rhythm, a higher intelligence shaping the path before you. Just as rivers carve valleys and stars move in perfect rhythm, your life too unfolds within a greater design. To trust in this is not weakness, it is wisdom. When the mind doubts, manipulative voices find their way in. They whisper, "You are lost, you are forgotten, you are alone." But when you rest in divine order, these voices sound hollow. You know they are false, because your foundation is steady. The storm may roar, but the root holds firm. The Shaolin masters would say, the bamboo bends, but it does not break. Its strength comes not from resisting the wind, but from aligning with it. In the same way, faith does not mean forcing the path to bend to your will. It means flowing with the greater order, trusting that the way forward is already set. In this trust, fear dissolves. Confusion cannot control you. You walk not as one stumbling in the dark, but as one guided by an unseen lantern. Faith is not the absence of struggle. It is the alignment with truth. And in that alignment, no deception can stand. Gratitude is more than a feeling, it is a state of being. When the heart turns toward what is already given, it closes the door to the endless hunger that feeds fear and despair. Lack whispers, "You are not enough." Envy whispers, "You are behind." Despair whispers, "You are lost." But in the presence of gratitude, these voices cannot survive. They starve because gratitude fills the space they once occupied. In Shaolin practice, gratitude is woven into the simplest acts: bowing before entering the hall, giving thanks for food, honoring the teacher, even acknowledging the breath itself as a gift. These gestures are not empty rituals. They are training the heart to recognize abundance where the mind might overlook it. And when gratitude becomes discipline, it transforms the way one walks through life. A grateful heart is untouchable because it sees blessing where others see burden. Where fear says, "This will destroy you," gratitude says, "This will strengthen you." Where control tries to chain you with what is missing, gratitude frees you with what is present. It becomes an armor that cannot be pierced, for no shadow can extinguish the light of thankfulness. There is also a universal law at work. What you honor grows stronger. If you honor anger, it deepens. If you honor fear, it spreads. But if you honor the good, however small, it expands until it fills your vision. Gratitude is the choice to water seeds of light instead of weeds of shadow. In this way, gratitude is not passive, it is power. It is a discipline that redirects the mind, strengthens the spirit, and silences the forces that seek to unsettle you. When you live with a grateful heart, you live beyond the reach of control. The true battle is never outside, it is within. Every day, voices will try to distract you, fears will try to take root, and old wounds may rise again. But when you anchor yourself in presence, guard your breath, keep stillness close, and live with discipline, you carry a shield no darkness can break. Pain becomes a teacher, gratitude becomes your strength, and faith holds you steady on the path. This is the way of inner mastery, not a single step won in haste, but a daily practice, gentle, steady, unshakable. Carry these teachings with you, not only in thought, but in action. Walk with awareness, breathe with intention, honor the order in your life, and watch how the noise loses its hold. May your mind remain clear, your heart remain strong, and your spirit remain free. Thank you for walking with us today. If these words have spoken to you, we welcome you to like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to our channel, Shaolin Soulfire. Together, we continue the path of clarity, discipline, and peace.